Thank you again, the California Grown and California Walnuts, for a beautiful lunch, and to the folks who poured, Chimney Rock, Hope Family Wines, St. Supery. It was such a treat getting to try your beautiful wine, so thank you everyone for that. Okay, we are kicking off session 2 with a very special panel titled Growing Together, Women in Agriculture, and it's presented by California Grown. I would like to welcome Aida Mollenkamp to the stage to introduce our panelists. Aida is a California native. We love that. She is a food and travel expert. Oh, and she's right there. And she has curly bangs, which I have to point out I'm very, very fond of. She studied at Cornell and Le Cordon Bleu, not too shabby, and she is the founder of the Food First travel planning company, Salt and Wind Travel. Please welcome Aida Mollenkamp.
Well, it's so nice to see you all here. I have lived all over California. I now live in the mountains, and I'm missing community. So there's only so much time you can hang out with like a rock in yourself where you're like, okay, now people. So this panel felt like a really perfect time to introduce all of you who aren't from California to agriculture here in California. Obviously, we have incredible talent who's going to come up here and tell their stories. But of course, as somebody who works with California Grown and California Prunes and California Walnuts and all the California things, thought I might give you a couple of stats. So first of all, October is Farmer and Farm Worker Month, and it could not be a more appropriate time for us to be having this conversation. This is a really important time for us to think about the people who are actually harvesting our food, which I talked to some of our winemakers where that just ended a couple days ago for them. And we here in California have a national and really global role in agriculture. We take it a big responsibility on our shoulders to help lead the way forward. And to give you perspective, we have some of the highest agricultural pay per worker standards and protections in the field across the whole globe. That's impactful because we were thinking of maybe doing this part as a trivia, but then we realized there's only like 5 of us who could answer this. We have 400 specialty crops grown in California. Okay, so that's non-commodity crop. That is, not your soybean, for example. That provides more than 50% of the nation's produce. I always have to take a 1, 2. Yeah, exactly. I see it across your faces right now. But also, as Jen and the women coming on this panel next can tell us, we also produce 80% of the nation's wine. And as of today, we have met a very important milestone, which is that 80% of that wine is produced in a certified sustainable winery. So we are leading the way. But enough talk about ag. Let's get about the people behind the ag. I'm going to introduce you to all of our various panelists. So first of all, we have Gretchen Roddick, who's going to be coming up, the Executive Vice President of Hope Family Wines. She joined Hope Family Wines in 1997 and never looked back. And if you've tried their wines, you would understand why. She now oversees all of the company operations. We're talking production, winemaking, finance, hospitality, sales, and marketing, which as somebody who works with a lot of people in these small businesses and in farms, I can tell you, definitely farmers and people in agriculture are the most multi-talented people that we see in business. Under her leadership, annual sales have grown from 1,000 cases to nearly 1 million. 1 million. She has been a pivotal force in the success of Hope Family Wines and was named San Luis Obispo County's Wine Industry Person of the Year in 2022. Next, we have Brenae Royal, who joined St. Supery as the Director of Vineyard Operations just in April. She now manages 1,639 acres across 3 Napa Valley vineyard locations, and she brings extensive agriculture and all the things somebody like me who nerds out about agriculture loves. We're talking irrigation automation, sustainable and organic farming, and vineyard management. She is a passionate advocate for the advancement of Black people in agriculture and serves as a mentor for Wine Unify and the Roots Fund. So if you haven't found your 3 goals from Jen's talk earlier, maybe it's to be Brenae, just perhaps. Then we have Erin Raser, Director of Operations and Advocacy at Far West Fungi. She is one of the leading, Far West Fungi, of which she is part, is one of the leading organic exotic mushroom companies in the country. If you have not had their mushrooms, run to get them. She focuses on supporting the challenges and needs of domestic exotic mushroom industry while working on food safety and organic compliance. And she has an extensive background in sustainable development, environmental studies, and is also a board member of the California Organics Advisory Council. Then we have the always fashionably dressed Samantha Rudd, who is the owner of Rudd Estate and Press Restaurant. And she grew up right here in Napa Valley and at Napa Valley's Rudd Estate, and has embraced the responsibility of improving the land and the wine at her family's estate. She's worked at top wineries. We're talking Chateau Margaux and Spotswood before returning to Rudd in 2015. She now partners with Chef Philip Tessier at Press to highlight Napa's wine and culinary talents, and she is expanding her vision with her newest venture, Understory, a culinary retail space that I can tell you is like the buzz of the valley right now. And then we have, finally, we have Elizabeth Vianna, the general manager and winemaker at Chimney Rock Winery. And she has been part of the team there since 1999 because women have sustainability also in their longevity of their careers in agriculture these days. And she leads an all-Hispanic winemaking team and is known for her commitment to sustainability, with both the vineyard and winery certified Napa Green. She holds a master's degree in enology from UC Davis and has worked with some of the most renowned winemakers in Napa. So please welcome all of our panelists on stage, and I hope they have a wonderful conversation.
Oh my gosh, I'm a little intimidated. Those were some resumes, folks. Okay. But I think I mentioned this to some of you, I want to get to know the women behind these LinkedIn profiles, right? Okay, so our audience can get a better understanding of each of you. I would love to know what drew each of you to move to California or to stay in California. And I want to do it speed round style. So tell us in a sentence or two. I'll start. Yep.
I stayed in California. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, did a fruit science major before there was a wine business major, and decided to get in the wine business. I'm still here and I love it.
So I moved to California actually to do AmeriCorps from Pennsylvania when I was 18, and I was in San Jose, and I used to take the Highway 17 bus to Santa Cruz every weekend. And if you've ever been to Santa Cruz, you can understand why I wanted to stay. So I went back and forth a lot, and now I'm here permanently.
I've spent most of my life in California, and I'm staying here because the best wines are grown in California, so that's why I'm here.
I was actually born in Brazil, but living in New York City, fell in love with wine as a consumer, and was on a path to go to medical school, and this was no contest, so that's it.
Did you meet Chef Ara? Medical school refugees? Yeah.
I'm originally from Wichita, Kansas, but moved here with my family when I was 8. So I left, but always wanted to come back.
So interesting. And Brazil, where's Jaini? Have you two met yet? No. Oh my gosh, you have to meet. Yes. Jaini did not travel here from Brazil, but she is from Brazil. So you two will have to meet after this. Okay, each of you represents a different part of California's agriculture world, and it was so interesting hearing the stats from Aida. I mean, incredible just to know that more than 50% of the produce that the country enjoys comes from the state, and was it over 80% of the wine? I mean, that is absolutely remarkable. The agriculture world here is so interconnected, and even though all of you represent so many different facets, mushroom, wine, restaurants, it is all interconnected. We can't do what we do without each other. I wanted to know, when it comes to all of this, what is top of mind for you right now? What topic related to agriculture, to your jobs, what have you spent much of 2024 working on, thinking on, tackling, and why? And Gretchen, you have the unfortunate position of sitting next to me, so I'm going to look at you first every time. So no wrong answers, but we'd love to know, like, what's on your minds these days?
We are really focused on keeping sustainability with our people and our place. We ask all our growers that we buy fruit from to be sustainable in practice. We really focus on that. We look at also our people and make sure they're living the right culture, getting taken care of. Hope Family Wines really focuses on family first, quality second. And so when we have the opportunity to look at quality and we can grow the product, we're looking at what the consumer needs are, looking at gaps and opportunities. We've talked a little bit about the multicultural. We're looking at the next generation. How do we keep the wine business alive? And that's really important to us. So we sit on various boards. I'm currently sitting as an officer for the Wine Institute, representing the California wine globally. So I get the opportunity to actually see this in different areas. So I think it's important that we look ahead. We are not afraid of any challenges. We just move forward, look at those gaps and opportunities, and keep the sustainable practice in place with our people. And we're all cultivating togetherness. Let's bring it back to what we started with. And agriculture, we all love agriculture. I mean, hey, we get to grow wine. How fun is that?
I never thought about it as growing wine, but I love that. So you go to bed with a lot on your mind. How do you sleep at night?
I don't sleep. I was told by my wellness doctor through menopause that if you take some cortisol and ashwagandha, you might be able to sleep past 3.
You might want to talk to Tanya after this. Where's
Right?
Tanya? Okay.
Exactly.
You said family first. What did you mean by that?
So Hope Family is, the Hope family moved over to Paso Robles in 1978, and they were farmers. And they started farming and then we've built the winery. I started there in January of 97. And since then we have over 100 employees, and really the only Hope family person on our payroll is Austin Hope. So we really truly feel that our team is family. As we're hiring people and looking at who's coming in for interviews, everybody has a task that they need to do. We look at job descriptions, we fill the roles, but at the end of the day, we're looking to see, is this the right fit? Are they family oriented? Do they have the drive? I don't look at it as a job. I wake up every day and I have passion, so I get to go to work every day. So it's an opportunity. And so the people that we hire, and we're growing our team, we're looking at, do you want to have the same passion? There's a lot of passion in the wine business. There's passion in Paso. It's a region that's getting recognized, so let's bring it forward and keep growing it. Am I staying on task? I can ramble and on.
I'm fascinated. I'm meeting a lot of you for the first time this weekend, so I'm fascinated. So thank you for that. All right, Erin, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so much. I'm first of all just so happy to be here among so many incredible people and representing the mushroom industry, which feels a little underrepresented. But I'm really happy to be here. So one thing that I've been working on for the last year, but also for the last 5 years, is really transparency in labeling related to mushrooms. There's a lot of imports that come in that are incorrectly labeled as products of USA. So I've been working on this past year. I was working on trying to pass legislation related to what it means to be a California grown mushroom. Unfortunately, that didn't go through, but we made a lot of headway and we've gained an incredible amount of partners, CCUF being one of them throughout this whole process. So we're really focused on sustainability, local food. We're also a family business, 4 brothers and their parents running this business. And we all have families, and our food is really important to us. So we want to be able to be confident in consumers not only buying our mushrooms and feeling good about it, but buying any mushrooms in the country or in the state of California, and really knowing where they're coming from and where those products, where the water, where the substrate, where the spawn, where the product is spending the majority of its life cycle. So yeah, that's what I spend my time doing.
You mentioned mushroom farming is underrepresented. Obviously, in this room it is. I think you're our only mushroom farmer here today. So thank you for joining us. What has changed in that specific field?
So the exotic mushroom industry is a growing field in the United States. It's a relatively new form of agriculture that we're seeing here. The agaricus mushroom industry, which would be portobellos, browns, and white cremini mushrooms, have been growing here for a long time, but the exotic mushroom industry is relatively new. So there's
agaricus?
Agaricus, yeah. Agaricus are portobellos, whites, browns. And we grow exotic mushrooms, so shiitake, lion's mane, oyster, reishi, all of those other mushrooms that are federally legal to grow in the United States. And so there's a lot of changes. We're really at this incredible moment right now. We've been calling it the shroom boom because everyone is really excited about mushrooms, and that's exciting for us. So there's so many changes in the industry. It's really hard to keep up. But the one incredible thing that we've been seeing happening is so much cooperation across the board from, the old-time farmers in Pennsylvania, where the mushroom capital of the world actually, to, the new farms that are popping up all over the country. So it's been an incredible time to be in the mushroom business.
So interesting. I mean, chefs have always loved mushrooms. Are you doing a lot with the chef community?
Yeah, we've been had a store in the Ferry Building for over 20 years. So we've have a lot of connections in San Francisco and with the chef community. I work at the farm and I'm a farmer, so it's not really my realm. I love to eat and I appreciate chefs for all that they do and all of you. But yeah, I can't speak to that as much.
And then you mentioned that you helped try to pass legislation. What did you learn in that process?
To never give up and to take up space and talk to everyone about your issue, because you never know, someone in the grocery store or someone that you'd meet on a bus or passing by could have a really valuable nugget of information or a connection for you. And so I've just been, pounding my drum and to whoever will listen. And it's been a pretty incredible process, even though not fully successful yet.
But there's still time. Yes. All right. Brenae, how about you?
One of the big things that keeps me up is controlling cost. I lead with protecting our vineyard and agriculture workers, and they all got raises this year, but people don't understand that we are really ground zero with increasing costs. So as I try and protect my people, now it's like, okay, do you increase the cost on the value of the fruit? Oh, okay, now the value of glass has gone up. And all these increases in cost are being driven by all of these different factors. So how do I protect my team, but also rein in what really is driving this cost? I was able to get one of our vineyards certified organic this year, but organic typically means that you're having increased touches, and which increases costs. So how do I balance the desires and needs of our consumers who want softer farmed wines? And how do I balance that with protecting the environment? And then protecting the people. But also keeping the value of our product elevated and justifying that cost to the consumer. Like, no, this isn't just $100 because I want that kind of profit margin. This is $100 because we are doing all of these other initiatives to make it worth that dollar that you're spending. So in addition to protecting people, how do you incorporate that into your storytelling in a graceful way? The wine industry is in a very, very tough pinch right now. So being transparent about that is what I think is going to allow people to be smarter about where they're spending their money, but also be incentivized to do it, because you would not have wine in your glass today without the men and women that are in the vineyards.
Yeah, absolutely. Brenae, you mentioned taking one of the farms organic. There are a lot of us in the room who are not farmers and don't work in wineries. Tell us what that means and a little bit about that process.
So we have been Napa Green certified since 2012, and that comes with its own list of regulations in the same way that the CSWA does, and all these rules around being sustainable. Going organic really removes some of those more popular tools out of your toolbox, such as synthetic herbicides and fungicides and all of those things. So it reduces maybe some of your effectiveness. It also increases cost because you have more touches, but you're utilizing more products that are naturally derived from the planet. You're also getting increasingly knowledgeable about what's going on with climate change and utilizing new technologies to anticipate. So you're going from areas where you could be more reactive to proactive in almost 100% of the operation and anticipating things that can happen. It's a lot of record keeping and tracking everything that's going on with the fruit in that vineyard and making sure that it's traceable. Can I go back 3 years and look at this and verify that this actually happened? And I'm talking down to the macro bin that it was harvested in, the truck it was on, the macro bin that it was next to, who did it? Did we clean the equipment before it landed on site, before it got into any block? So it's a lot of record keeping, but it's also a lot of putting your money where your mouth is. Going organic isn't for everyone, and I will say going organic is a huge community effort. It's really easy when you're on a satellite vineyard and you might be in a region where everyone's organic or biodynamic, But when you're along Highway 29, you know, I'm looking over at what my neighbors are doing, and I'm checking my buffer zones, and I'm introducing myself. So it was something that I was hopeful to touch on. But I mean, all of our farming is such a community related thing, and we're all interconnected because of the relationships that we have to maintain. Even when you don't like somebody, you got to keep it cute. So, but you know, what your neighbor's doing will impact what you're able to do. And you can't go and tell somebody else what to do because of your own goals. So what kind of community efforts are happening to allow me to go organic is huge. So, it's very tedious, but you reap the rewards quite impactfully on the vineyard itself and the lands, particularly the soil. So,
Wow, you have to be a diplomat as well.
I wear a lot of hats. Yeah.
Clearly. All right, Elizabeth, how about you?
Okay, so I would say in the immediate, I don't sleep a lot either. And I think front of mind is keeping resiliency of our business, our employees, our vineyards, really thinking long-term for the family that I work for, and growing a business that is both successful, but success to me means a lot of different things. And I think I want our employees to be as happy to be there as the consumers that come see us. And that really drives me. So that's number one. On a broader sense, I am really thinking about the long-term resiliency of the wine business, and being a veteran of almost 30 years now in the business, I'm giving back. So I'm part of the Napa Valley Vintners Board of Directors. I'm part of Stag's Leap Wine Growers Board of Directors, really looking big picture. How can we collaborate and make sure that this incredibly beautiful, civilized beverage, doesn't get a bad rap? Like, it's still something that we grow from the ground, that we enjoy together, that brings us together. And I think there's, as you know, a lot of challenges, a lot of naysaying against wine. And I think there's a balance point, and we have to fight back and say, this is the beverage of moderation. So thinking a lot about that. I think finally, I've been really fortunate in my life to have amazing mentors and people who really guided me, believed in me, some of them in this room, actually. And it's giving back. So I'm mentoring through Bâtonnage as well. And my doors are pretty much a revolving door of young folks who come in and want, tips on how to break through, and it is probably some of the most rewarding work that I think I do. So those are kind of the three things that keep me up at night.
Oh, thank you, and thank you for the mentorship that you do.
Yeah,
that we haven't really touched on that yet today, but that's so important.
Yeah,
and I know the women who spoke earlier are big believers and have mentored a great number of people in the industry. So, Samantha.
Well, it's like you're all the voices in my head at night, because all of those things. It's a incredibly personal business for me. I'm an only child. My dad passed away 6 years ago. I came home working at Chateau Margaux to take over my family business. And so I guess on the people front, we have an in-house vineyard crew. We farm organically and biodynamically. I'm 36. I've known some of them for 30 years, some of our crew. So, I've seen them through incredibly personal times, and I mentioned I'm an only child. They really, really feel like my family. So, of course, I have their interests on my mind all the time. But then also the viability of the business. It's challenging. We're 100% family owned, and in the first time in 20 years, wine is trending down, and there's just realities around. I'm like, to a fault, maybe a little bit too transparent. But when my dad passed away 6 years ago, our fire insurance was around $100,000. This year, I'll pay $1.6 million a year in fire insurance. And I'm on the valley floor. And so, those are just business realities that definitely keep me up at night. And it balanced with how much I care about the long term. I have 3 kids, how much I care about the long term, my long-term commitment and my family's long-term commitment to our property and to this community. So, yeah.
But you are thinking big and diversifying and doing different things. Aida alluded a little bit to your big project that everyone's looking forward to. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I really care just as much about the end product as I do about our people. Like I said, I've known many of them for so long, but I also think like you all and we all know that we're not, I can't do any of it without them. And they're incredibly talented. They inspire me every day. So Press is located next to what my family used to own, Dean and DeLuca, but we sold in 2015. So there used to be a Dean and DeLuca Napa Valley. So that will now actually be the Napa Valley Museum, which we're really excited to put that in right on 29. It'll have such great visibility, great partners. We can do really fun, cool events there. And then in the back will be the cafe that the team at Press is doing with us called Understudy. And the idea is a culinary playground. I mean, we have incredibly talented people that will be doing sort of the best of everything, from the meat that you can get there, sort of a butcher shop, to the breads that you can get. And there'll also be a cafe. But I think the most exciting thing for me there, again, bringing it back to the people, is just seeing the team do it, bring it all together. And I don't know, just really having the faith that everything will be so amazing because they all care so much and they're all so talented. So I feel like it's all there. I mean, it's my investment, I guess, but it's I'm just as excited every day when I go to hear about everything they're so excited about, because I know it'll be amazing. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, look forward to visiting. Yes, congratulations on all of that. I was talking to Amelia after her talk, and she brought up the word sustainability, and she said, it's not just sustainability of a place anymore, it's sustainability of people. And some of you alluded to that in the answers you just gave us, but I wanted to talk a little bit about that word and what it means to each of you personally. We don't talk enough about sustainability of self either, and I know as a fellow person who has trouble sleeping these days, we should all be sleeping if we can. But talk to us about that word and what it means to you these days. Sustainability of self, of your people, of the space you occupy.
I truly believe in wellness. And I think we alluded to it earlier, and we live to eat, we eat to live. And that's truly a statement that we should be really living by. There's so many medical things out there with the diabetes and things going on. And so me personally, we've got health problems close to us in our family. So I look at going to the doctor on a regular basis. Our company is really, really close to the family, and they pay 100% health insurance. And they want you to go to the doctor, and they say, we will take care of you and your family because we want you to be healthy. We go to a retreat once a year in Mexico, Santa Vive, and we actually get a wellness check with our executive team. And so it's really important to the Hope family that they stay healthy, because it's not just physical health, like running and losing 20 pounds. It's about mental health and keeping up with yourself and knowing that you're going to be okay, because if you're not okay, you can't take care of others. And so it's important that we take care of our team. And so at the end of the day, it's something that I do, maybe wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but then I'm like, no, just lay and rest, don't get on your phone, all those little things, you just get up and go for a walk, drink your water. So I think it's important to take care of yourself so you can take care of others.
Thank you.
Erin?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm going to definitely suggest to the board of Far West Fungi that we go on a retreat to Mexico every year, because I would love that. So for me personally, the sustainability of working in a family business, it's as it's been mentioned, it's different than working in a non-family business. And I find myself, I'm having my third baby early next year, and I'm saying no to a lot, and I'm putting up boundaries, and I'm, we all wear so many hats as women, as mothers, as business owners. And I'm just getting to this point where I'm like, for my wellness, for the sustainability of me in this role, I have to put up some boundaries. And it means saying no.
Okay.
And for Far West Fungi, sustainability is very important, and we do a lot of things related to the business. Plastics are huge in a lot of agriculture. They're also huge in mushroom cultivation. So reducing those as much as possible. We've switched over to cardboard clamshells, which was really amazing and impactful in the industry. We're kind of an industry leader in that. And, we use solar and try to get, we are at 18 farmers markets. So we really encourage people to come to the markets and buy directly from us, and reducing those food miles.
Great. Brenae, I get the sense you never stop thinking about sustainability of the traditional sense.
Yeah, of the traditional sense and the the non-traditional sense.
Because you referenced several times taking care of your team.
Yeah, I try and lead with empathy and grace that I would like to see. Because, we've all just had a Wednesday where it was like, damn, I do not want to be here. Like, I'm having an off day. And so one of the big things that we do is like we have gardens on site. I'm like, you have to be on site to get paid. But if today is a day that you just got to go prune roses and like look busy, like you got to go prune roses and they're going to look great. But like just having that empathy to be like, you know what, this person is like a human too. Like life doesn't stop because you're at work. And if I have those days, it's likely members of my team have that day. So leading with the sense that they can come to my door and go, Brenae, today's just one of those days. I was like, go water the roads or go drive around, go scout, go do something that isn't going to be a big mental commitment, but is going to allow you to pick your head up and see that we're working on a really beautiful vineyard location. I would say sustainability in maybe the non-traditional sense is being open about some of that life that happens. Like I had a miscarriage a couple of years ago and I called my team and I said, all I want to do is be a vineyard manager. Like all these other hats I wear, don't want to see anybody cancel the tours, do what you got to do. But all I want to do is go sit on an ATV and like roll around and catch my breath. And they did that. So I think sustainability is leading with the same grace and compassion and empathy that you would like to receive when life is lifing. So, yeah.
Thank you for being that kind of leader to your team also.
Yeah, this really speaks to my heart. My motto is humans first. And, I think we all remember the really hot week in October. And, our normal schedule, we were picking and the crew would have to be out cleaning. And I was like, nope, we're not going to clean. You're going to hose that down. And we're going to send a few people home. And we'll come in early when it's cool. The December's going to stay dirty. I'm okay with that. The humans first. And also, I think in thinking of your employees, I really love the model of work family. I know some people speak against that because it implies that there are no boundaries, but I very much believe in boundaries. And when you look at your employees thinking, what are they going through in their life? And they will be happier to be here if they're thriving in their lives. So how can I support them at whatever stage they're going through? And, as an example, my cellar master is a single dad. And he has to pick up his daughter, drop her off at school and pick her up. And we make that happen. Like you work and you become flexible to make it work for everyone so that you're really helping them thrive in life and not just in work, right? So I really pride myself in thinking holistically about every person on my team. And sustainability to me also means, I think, balance. We work in a famously workaholic culture. The American culture is insane in work, and there's almost this, and in the wine industry there's like this little kamikaze attitude of like, oh, I worked 15 hours and 20 days without a day off. No, that's nonsense. You don't have to do that. You can be organized and you can be compassionate, and we can all have balance. So it's work in progress always. I'm the worst at it. My self-care goes down the toilet first. But I'm working on that.
Happy to hear that. All right, last word.
I'd echo everything that you all said. I guess another thing that I think about a lot in terms of sustainability, like to be sure our businesses are still here in the future, is unlikely collaboration. I think that sometimes there's, people used to say more frequently than they do now, but think outside the box. And I think actually what I find has been the most powerful for me in solving some problems I just didn't have the answers to. But I know that I probably wasn't the only person having those problems, both personally and professionally, was actually getting, like we are right now, inside of a box with maybe some unlikely collaborators and learning and listening and being vulnerable and honest and, assuming the best and hoping that like the intention is to genuinely help and hear each other and learn, which it feels like that's the energy in this box. And sometimes with people that aren't very unlikely allies or collaborators. And I think, I think a lot about that now too, when I'm facing some challenges that seem like I don't have the answer and maybe like the person immediately I talk to all the time doesn't. So I'm going to think outside the box and like get in a room and talk to the people that maybe have other points of view than me, and it tends to go well.
I love that. All right, well, let's give a round of applause to our panel. There's so much more I would love to ask you, but I know some of you are going to stick around, and I hope everyone takes the opportunity to talk to our panelists. And I just want to thank you again for being so open and so honest with all of us. And I hope this also gives you some insight into the product that we all consume and love so much, and how much goes into every bottle of wine, every piece of produce, every fruit and vegetable and mushroom, of course. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.